But first, as always, let's get into what we've been playing. Carlos, what you been playing, man?
Yeah, I not a whole lot this week, but I did receive a physical collector's edition of Super Sports Blast. I won it on a Twitter contest for like the first time ever, and I was very excited.
Hey,
Uh,
did you
Congratulations!
go buy a did you go
right?
buy a lotto ticket too, or
No,
no?
unfortunately, but I definitely thought about it.
Yeah.
So Super Sports Blast is it's a triple pack basically of three sports games that really reminded me visually of backyard baseball or the backyard football games and the classic stuff that we grew up with. But when you actually start playing the game, it's much better than that. It was I was actually very impressed. It's a normally a $25 game, but again, you're getting three sports. You're getting soccer, tennis, and volleyball, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. You can play it against other people. You can play it co-op or what have you. It's super easy controls. Again, like I said, visually it looks at first like the characters look like the backyard characters used to, but then the actual gameplay is almost cell shaded realism. Like it's a surprisingly good looking game when it comes down to it. For something that you see a graphic of and you're like, oh, is that just a kid sports game? No, like don't don't like just put it on the back burner. It's actually something to try out sometime. It's a complicated soccer game, a quick, very easy to play volleyball game, and a tennis game that in my I think three matches that I played so far, could not fucking win. Just absolutely could not. Um,
So it's
it's
on
one
the
of
same level as like Mario Tennis Aces, or
I would say it's a little bit of a step down, but not a whole lot. It feels more in the realm of simulation than it does arcade, which was
okay.
very surprising. Um, but it actually does the tennis game being the hardest one for me. It's because it actually relies on timing almost too much.
Oh.
You mentioned aces, and I remember the Mario Tennis games do require a good amount of timing, but because of the isometric camera angle being just a little different than you might be normally used to on the tennis game, it led to some just straight up misses that I didn't expect.
Now you said it was better than backyard baseball. Am I remembering backyard baseball not like? Am I remembering it too fondly as it being like an amazing thing, or
Maybe like
I just
I
Pablo
I remember them
Sanchez.
being super
The massage
simple.
classes are like really, really strong.
Yeah. Like I remember them being great. I think I played football more than I did the baseball game
Pablo
back then.
Sanchez every
But
time he was the best player. It was fantastic.
but for sure they do the same thing. They have some characters that are based off of real people with really, funny turns on names. And I think that might have been my mistake on the tennis game because I was playing the version of basically Rafael Nadal, and he just kept fucking owning me, which makes sense if I didn't quite have everything down pat and I was using a rando character that was not Nadal.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too disappointed with that. So I really can't wait to play some more of it, and hopefully, I'm thinking about getting an eShop card and giving somebody the freaking money to just play some of it with me on the Switch sometime. I mean, come on.
Is that and that's Switch only, or is that
No,
something else?
it's not Switch only. I feel like it's on PS4.
I'm actually
I
just
think
Google it. Let
so.
me see.
Yeah,
Super Sports Blast.
yeah.
So
Because
when you first gave us the name, I for some reason pictured it being like a water gun dueling game, like Super Sports. I don't know why.
actually, that would be great. So no, it's actually on all systems and PC. It looks like.
Yep.
So
It's everywhere.
yeah, it's really one of the best indie sports games that I've played in a long time. So I definitely recommend it. The soccer game is legit.
It looks
Uh,
good.
the soccer game is much like it's simple, but there is actually franchise mode. Like you can do some really deep stuff in it. I'm not really an in-depth soccer person, so I don't really care to do franchise in that one necessarily. But but the volleyball mode, I would definitely do the franchise in. I would definitely do the. There's another version of franchise in the tennis mode as well. But it's really cool having it on a cartridge. I got it from Ultra Collectors, which is based in Spain. So it didn't take too long to ship, but it's Super Sports Blast is their second game. So if you are looking for any really cool special editions, I do recommend checking out Ultra Collectors for that sometime. And the second game that I played this week was Extinction. And
that's the Turok horde thing.
Yeah,
right?
this is the dinosaur shoot 'em up co-op game. And suffice to say, it is not a one-player game.
What do you mean?
Absolutely not.
Is it difficult?
Yeah. So it's still in early access technically, so I'm not gonna bash it, but
But you're about to bash it.
yeah. It's got the very basic premise that is it actually sets up a lot like Deep Rock Galactic because it's three-player teams, and the roles are very similar as well. So it kind of reminded me, it threw me back to Evolve as well, but not as interesting of a concept. So you basically just have two teammates with you. You drop down onto these different mission points. Mine in particular, I think I was supposed to grab something out of a hangar, out of a plane hangar, and then go to the point to get picked up. And it doesn't give you AI teammates if you go in alone. And then there are basically magically spawning dinosaurs.
Like you do.
Yeah. Like, the designs are really cool. What was it? I'm sure, Chris, you might remember. There was a dinosaur. There was a very edgy dinosaur toy line in the 90s. It was like, I know it was not Primal Fury, but maybe it was Primal Rage
Fury,
or something.
Thinking of Primal Rage, that's a game.
Yeah, I know one of those is a game, and one of those is a toy series. But the dinosaurs look exactly like that. They're all very interesting, but very sci-fi versions of dinosaurs that you know of. Like, there are some.
The Mechanosaurus Rex.
Oh my god! Like, it might as well be the Rex that they have there is like a radioactive Rex because it has like an atomic breath style attack that it shoots at you. Very Godzilla-like.
I mean, they could have just called it Halitosis.
Halitosis Rex.
Oh my god! I don't know the actual name of it. It does have a complicated name, so it's probably close. There's like this raptory dinosaur that goes like active camo right in front of you. You literally can't see it, and then it will flash back up on the screen like right in front of you, which is technically cool, but also
infuriating.
When it starts throwing 20 dinosaurs at you at the same time, and each one of them takes like a full clip to take down a lot of the times, not a good experience on that. They gave me a waypoint to go to this hangar. I was supposed to open a couple doors. I opened the first door, and it's like, oh yeah, what you're looking for is not in here. I'm like, okay. So I leave that hangar. There's another button to push on the next door, and it's like, oh, it's locked. You'll have to find another way in. I was like, okay.
The princess is in another castle.
Yeah. So that first hangar happened to have like 2 nests of dinosaurs.
Oh.
That had like a dozen dinosaurs pop out when I got in there. So when I ran to the next door, I was already fucked, right? So I come back inside because the waypoint's like, oh yeah, there's probably something to open that door in here. And I find that something. And then at that point, I'm covered in about 25 dinosaurs, including a Rex, 2 Styracosaurus type dinosaurs, which, if you're not familiar, that's like a Triceratops, but with more horns, very armored and crazy. Like, I think there were at least 5 or 6 dinosaur types, and for real, when I was trying to complete my mission, there were at least 20 on screen at the same time,
Oh my
just
gosh.
wrecking me. And there was no running away. I saw a tunnel that I came through to get there, and I was like, okay, that tunnel is clearly small enough that that Rex should not be able to get through, right? Yeah, maybe a good logical thing. I run through there, and like I start getting wrecked by about 5 or 6 different dinosaurs. I take them out. I turn around to exit the tunnel from where I began, and the T-Rex has teleported through the tunnel where I was. It was impossibly frustrating, and
I love
there
that.
is there's the revival. If you had teammates, you can hold X down or whatever, and as long as an enemy is not like bashing you at the same time, then you can revive yourself. Otherwise, a teammate would have to come do it. So, since there was this horde of dinosaurs, I was lying on the ground, and I just held X down to see what would happen. I kept it down, and would constantly be getting hit like exactly a half second before the meter would come back up. And then I did actually revive myself, I think, 3 times before I gave up, because eventually the Rex just was standing on my body, just literally stomping every second,
Oh my gosh.
just stomping. And it was like the most rudimentary thing that you could think of in AI, in games, which
Well,
it was just like, oh, that's what it was made to do, I guess.
you got to think that the game's made for multiplayer, so the idea would be that somebody would draw the ire of the Rex, so you would stop stomping you, and you could pick yourself up, or a teammate could. But
Right.
in this
I just
situation, you're by
imagine the
yourself.
T-Rex is just like on the phone, like, yeah, I'll be home in a minute. I just gotta kill this thing. Just yeah. I don't know why he just keeps trying to get back up, but it's cool. It's fine. Like,
It really felt like that though, like absolutely. And there's obviously there was an aggro feature in there. I don't remember what they called it, but when a certain number of dinosaurs are together, and I think even an interspecies thing, if different species are together, they'll interact differently as well. But they just fucking all went aggro, and they would not stop.
wow.
They would absolutely not stop coming after me. So in that case, I was wondering what it would have been like with even one other person. Would they have been able to stop the aggro, because they were all like glowing red and glowing blue and glowing green, and it was crazy.
Do you know if there's crossplay between PC and Xbox for that?
I believe there is, because you have to sign up for their specific account
Okay.
to do it.
Okay.
And so that I think would be a good time, and it looks good even on my One X. I'll have to see what it looks like on Series S soon. It's a pretty enough game. It definitely does feel like multiplayer Turok more than anything, though, just because the AI feels so old.
Aw.
But it should be a good time. Still, just don't try to play it alone. It's not going to work out. But
Yeah,
it
maybe we'll do a
felt
co-op-
really good.
A co-op show or something with us playing that, or do like a stream or something. Since it's on Game Pass,
Yeah.
it's on PC and Xbox consoles. So that could be fun. We should. I saw it on there and I was like, ooh, maybe I should. That's that dinosaur one. Maybe I should check that out.
Yeah, like technically it feels good to play. Like the controls, like I said, are very Deep Rock Galactic. It's super simple to deal with, and the ammo seemed near infinite with the
Nice.
right loadout. So it can definitely be a good time. I'm looking forward to playing more, but definitely must be with a group.
That difficulty that you were talking about kind of reminds me of Scavengers, because I tried that out recently. And it is impossible to play without people who communicate with each other. Like, impossible.
That's that
it's a battle royale, but also
Right.
there's PvE elements to it,
Right,
and
right,
also you
right.
can freeze to death.
Right.
So that's good.
Oh,
And there's a
nice.
hunger system because that's a mechanic that's still around in 2021.
That's where they lose me is the survival mechanics. I just
Well,
give me
it's
the
not that you need food to live. It just helps your stamina. Like as you get hungrier, you lose access to your like as much stamina as you can have. So you can just, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's there.
You got to feel the realism of being a scavenger, obviously.
yeah.
Obviously.
Speaking of hordes of enemies just pummeling your dead body, I've been playing Outriders still. I know I haven't been on for a while, but I'm still playing Outriders. It's still good. I'm now in the expeditions portion of it, which is a different game. Like it's just just a different thing. It's like you're still doing the basic mechanics of you have your abilities and stuff, but like once you get to expeditions and start seeing some of the higher level mods that you just didn't see early on, it's like everything opens up and it becomes clear. Like, oh, this is what I should be doing with my character. Like before, I was just doing whatever I wanted in like mid maxed, right, in like 2 different skill trees just to do whatever I wanted. And then like once I got into expeditions, I'm like, oh, I'm a pyromancer. I just want everybody to be burning and on fire, and then I want the burn effect to be crazy. So then you completely get rid of your original skill tree and reset it, because you can do that at any time, and sit there and like really get meticulous about what you want your build to be, and then pair that with your mods that you have, and then like raise the attributes of the guns. It's just like a never-ending cycle of game that I haven't experienced. It's sort of like what Destiny promised, but didn't quite deliver on. You know, where with Destiny at some point I was just like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna play multiplayer, and that's where it's at for me. Like, trying to get people together to do raids in Destiny was always like, it seemed like a hassle, and how long they would take. It'd be like, look, we have 7 people on now, but I gotta go, so like I can't be on here all night. So that was a little, that like pushed me away from Destiny. But this is like, I don't know when it ends for me. Like I just feel like this is like with my group of friends, like we're still playing it often. And it's like interesting because I have 2 characters that I've gotten through the story now and are now on the end game stuff. And like bouncing in between those, it like keeps it fresh. And like I'm like trying to do, I have a pyromancer and a devastator. And
I was gonna ask.
yeah, my pyromancer is like, I have 3 of these gigantic firewalls that like, there's the first one you get is like this little tiny like little thing of fire that like flies towards people. But now I have it, so I have this legendary headpiece that makes that wider, and I have mods that allow me to do it 3 times. So it's just like, just everything's on fire and burning. And then I also have this like
And
iron.
you're just like cackling maniacally.
Yes, I'm making people explode everywhere. I have this Iron Man or like Sensu beam kind of thing that I just switched to that I'm loving. I used to have this like volcanic eruption that came out of the ground. But that's sort of the fun part too. Is like maybe you get a mod and it like blows your mind. You're just like, wait a minute, what? What does that do for that skill that I've never used? Oh, that's interesting. Well, maybe I should switch to that and see how that works. There's just like a lot of that. And then for my Devastator, I was like, I think I can spec it so now that the Devastators, they do bleed. So I can do bleed how I do burn on my other character. And just like, now that's what I'm doing with my Devastator. And it's made that like much more fun. There's just a lot to that. And like, those expeditions, like loot isn't dropping off the enemies like it does throughout the regular game. You have to beat it under a certain time limit, and then you'll get a gold. You get a gold, silver, or bronze tier. So you get something no matter what, even if you fail, there'll be like a chest at the end that you can open that gives you stuff. But the drop pods, they like drop out drop pod currency and titanium and guns, and you have higher chances of getting stuff if you're in gold, silver, like, you know, it tiers. The percentages change. But like that gets so hairy, especially if you have 3 people playing. If you're a full squad, you'll be at like a level 10, and the tiers are different too. So you have world tiers in the regular game that go up to 15, and then the tiers in the expeditions is like completely different. So you're leveling those up as well. And like it'll just get, we were playing earlier today, and this mission we'd done a few times before at like a lower level tier. We did it on level 10, and it was like, oh, a crawler's out, which is like kind of a big boss. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's 4 crawlers out. So we're just constantly running around, like, and they just keep sending waves and waves of stuff at you, and it's like, it doesn't get less satisfying. Like when we were playing together, and I can't remember who was the trickster, but somebody would like slow people down and all their body parts would be flying in the air, and you'd just be like, well, this is great. That
was Debbie.
That was Debbie. That satisfaction doesn't ever stop. Like you'll keep finding more and more stuff. They're like, oh shit, now that I've leveled this up and this mod has been on here, this mod used to do 9,000 damage. Now it's like 100 and something thousand damage. Like it just keeps getting farther and farther, and we haven't even.
So it is just basically like an over-the-top action movie, as you keep saying.
Yes, yeah, it's over the top, but it gets like. Today they did a bunch of restorations for the people that did lose all their stuff on certain characters. They restored that, and anybody that like broke down some legendaries and didn't get what they deserved from it, like because of some game glitch, they like re-put those legendaries into your inventory at your max level now.
Wow.
That's really cool.
That is very cool. So I woke up today, didn't know that was going to happen, and I had 7 legendaries in my inventory, and I was like, what is happening?
Did you just like dismantle them all again anyway?
Most of them. I swapped out the ones that I wanted to use, but like a lot of them you just used for resources.
Wow, I'm grateful.
Yeah. But I was using this gun, and like I do the anomaly bomb with my thermal bomb with my pyro, which makes people do the and they explode. Well, now my gun also can make people explode. So today I had this really sweet thing that happened where I killed the guy with my gun, which made them explode, and then they had the thermal bomb explosion as well. So the guy raised up into the air, and while he's in the air, I could see the anomaly from my gun working as well. So his head explodes, and then his whole body explodes from the thermal bomb, wiping out like all these other enemies around it. And I was just like, yes, yes, that was so satisfying. Everybody's down. Like we were like, oh god, hard incoming. Nope, not anymore. Everybody's dead. And they keep ramping up the difficulty, so you never really feel that safe. Like you can be like, we're running through this pretty easy, and then like they just send so much at you. But
and then teleporting T-Rex.
And then teleporting T-Rex shows up. It's all bad.
You know what? It actually does look like it belongs in that game.
Yeah.
Truly.
So still enjoying that. Kind of surprised that I'm still on that with everything else that has come out. But there was a little movie that came out, I guess 2 weeks ago now, called Mortal Kombat. So
what is that?
I enjoyed the silly dumbness of that movie. It did what it was supposed to do for the most part. So I enjoyed it. Devin enjoyed it. And then, of course, like a good consumer, I hop on the PlayStation Store to see how much Mortal Kombat 11 is. Oh, the Legendary Edition with everything, plus a PS5 version, is $30. I'm like,
why not?
Yeah, I'll do that. And then once again reminding me why I don't play fighting games, because I'm really, really bad at it. Especially on a controller. It's very hard. Like, I couldn't even get through the ending the last bit of the tutorial because I could not input the combo. Like there was just no physical way for me to like. I would have to like lay the controller down and like try to do it a bunch of times just to. I couldn't get it to work. I was like, I feel like I'm doing it. It's not registering. That's happened to me so many times in tutorials for fighting games where I get towards. It says basic combo. And I can't hit the basic combo. It's like, do this, then press back, then press square, then press circle. I'm like, well, square and circle on opposite sides of the controller. So how do I do that fast and be pushing the back? Like, it's a lot. But the story is fun and interesting. So I'll probably end up playing through that. But no illusions of actually, getting real deep into that to where I'm like playing against people. That's always
not with that attitude.
A nightmare. Oh well.
I mean, he already gave up on combos, so yeah, nah.
Well, like I could do some combos, but like when it's in the tutorial and you feel like you're hitting the combo correctly, and it won't let you progress because you're not hitting the combo exactly right, and then it goes, show me how to do it. And it pops up a little thing in the corner, and it fucking goes. I'm like, how the fuck do people's hands move that fast? Like, I'm so confused. Like, I feel like I have pretty good reflexes on video games, and then I see how they want me to enter the combo in, and I'm like, that's a robot. There's no human does that.
That's great.
It's definitely an acquired taste, like skill.
Yeah, it also feels like it's much harder than. And it's just a lot. Like when you like open up the tutorial menu, it's like, Jesus. Like it's like, here's the basics. Here's this. Here's this. Here's this. Here's this. And there's just so much going on screen.
Draw a circle. Now draw the rest of the fucking owl.
Yes. Like I played, like Debbie's wearing an Injustice 2 shirt. And I played a lot of Injustice 2. And I felt like that was pretty easy to wrap my head around. And I was able to get the combos and like do all that. And this is the same team, so I was like, all right, well, I should be able to pick this up pretty quick. I can do like all the fun maneuvers and stuff, and then like I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I don't even get to finish him in the story. Like people just fall over dead. Like I don't even get to do the
punch him at the very end when he says it.
No, like because they do like easy fatalities where it says like just hold R2 and hit this button, or hold R2 and hit this button. I haven't even gotten somebody wobbly. Like, I just wreck them so hard that they're just dead before they're even wobbly. And I'm like, I don't even understand. Like, in the old game, I thought, like, as soon as it got, like, to, like, a sliver of health, they started doing their little wobbly motion. But, yeah, it looks great. Of course it does. All the blood and guts and grossness. I found some cool...
Good.
Yeah, there's this really sweet... God, I want to say his name's like Kodokan or something. He's like a Mayan.
Kodokan. Yeah.
Kodokan, yeah. Fucking badass. Love him. He was a lot of fun to play with in the story. But the story is so wild. It's all like time travel-y and everything's all, you're crossing dimensions and shit. So it's just like there's two Johnny Cages on screen at one time and stuff like that. So
Raiden.
Something that's a bit of a bummer is like they allow you to like customize what people look like, but it seems to not matter in the story. So like, if you customize a character to look a certain way, it doesn't matter in the story. So far, I haven't played very far into it. I've only beaten like 2 chapters. But if you customize Liu Kang to look a certain way because you have all this stuff unlocked, that won't show up in the story.
Like in the cutscenes?
Yeah, in the cutscenes, it's whatever they are in the story. So I'm like, all right, well, that kind of sucks because it's like the whole. I guess what they're saying is like all your mods and all that stuff will show up in the other things, in the towers, or in playing against people. I just don't have like I want to play through the story and see the characters as I made them, not not whatever the generic version is. But maybe that unlocks a little bit farther down the road. I'm probably not there yet. But
I mean, that's kind of cool, though, because some people do customize their characters so ridiculously Like there's a whole meme about it. Like when your custom character gets in the cutscene and they're just like in a neon pink flamingo trench coat or something, and like have blue skin and like giant bug eyes.
Yes. Yeah, I mean all this stuff is just cosmetic though. I don't know why. Whatever. I'm sure it'll unlock at some point, and I'm just not there yet because I'm still pretty early on. And I played a little bit of. I'll get back into that and hopefully finish the story, and I have the whole DLC too. There's an Aftermath DLC that I have as well. I also played, because Thomas and I recorded some stuff it'll be coming out soon. I just need to get to editing it. I've been playing some Griftlands, and I know that Thomas did his brunch special on it this past weekend. Great card game RPG. They've really done a lot to it since I originally played it. Like some of the progression stuff just wasn't there at all when I played it, and I enjoyed it then. So now there's like interesting like perks and stuff that you can add as you go along. Like you're actually, even if you die, you still like feel like you're making some good progress. Like even if it's like the perk is like you start with $50 extra when you start a run or something. Like at least it's something, you know. For the longest time, it was like you lost, start over, try again. But they've done so much to that game. And I've been playing it. I have a little laptop, which has literally just become it's what I record some of my podcasts on, and it's a touch screen. So I've been playing, that's what I would play like Monster Hunter on, or Slay the Spire, or Griftlands, using the touch screen to do all the card games. It's a card game machine for me now, that laptop, for the most part. But yeah, Griftlands is so good. Love it. Check out Thomas's brunch specials on the Twitch, and we'll have a la carte of that coming up sometime this week when I get around to editing. But Devi, what have you been playing?
Well, kind of more the same. I've been playing a lot more Smash Legends, especially now since I've downloaded it on the PC. As I mentioned in the last episode, it was just a game that I, on a whim, downloaded because I saw a Facebook ad that was just like, first of all, it showed actual gameplay, which is rare for a mobile title to do.
Yeah.
Especially on Facebook. But then I really like the character designs. Like everyone is based on like fairy tale characters. And so like you see Peter Pan walking around with a giant sword, and freaking Cinderella kicking people with her quote unquote glass slippers, all Chun-Li style. And I was just like, okay, I can get into this. Yeah. Like, so, as I am wont to do, I was obsessed over it for about 2 weeks, and I'm already in the Grandmaster League. So, woo woo. I've been streaming it more too on my personal Twitch, because since I did download it on PC, it's a lot more stable than it is on tablet. No surprise there. And so it makes for a better, more seamless gaming experience. And plus, I get to show people the game itself. And a lot of my regulars who come in for like Ninjala and the other stuff that I stream, Road Company and all that, they're just like, ooh, what's this? And it's so weird because it's just like like an unassuming mobile title, you know, because that's just how mobile gaming is. You see an ad and you're like, okay, well, I'll better move on, scroll down. But this one has really hooked me. It's really enamored me. I even started to care about the lore of the game, which is so weird. I'm just like, wait, what? Peter is homeless? He lives in a cardboard castle? Wait, no, help the baby!
Oscar?
Okay.
Whoa. like that's a lot to unpack for this game. That's
right.
Real lore.
Like, so everything happens in this place called the Library World, which makes sense because it's like, you know, fairy tales and whatnot. And so, like, I don't know if these people were just regular people before they were brought into this world, but like some of the lore has said things like, before they were transported into the library world, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like,
pardon?
Okay, so what about like before that? Like
Age Master or something?
Ooh.
Sounds
that would be interesting. Yeah. That would be like a whole nother level. But apparently the person behind this is the Witch Queen, who is based off of the Snow White Queen. She's like a projectile character who attacks mainly with her like magic mirror. And her real name is Glacia, which I don't know if is the real actual name of the queen from Snow White, because we never know. We never learn from the movie.
Right.
But the Snow White character, who seems to be like a swordsman, like a chivalrous swordsman, swordswoman, I guess. She has yet to be added, but she'll be added later. But gameplay of her has been leaked, which I haven't checked out yet. I want to be surprised. But it's really crazy, all these twists and turns that they have with these character lores. Cinderella, her stepmother is nice to her. And her stepsisters like actually care for her. I'm like,
Then what, does she not have a struggle anymore?
I mean, struggle. She's a delivery girl in library world, so maybe that's her struggle is customer service. I don't know.
Like, that's a real struggle.
It's the gig economy struggle. That's what that is.
She's non-essential. That's her struggle. Other than that, though, I've been playing. Well, this is kind of by proxy because Bowser's been playing it. So right before it got vaulted, I got Super Mario 3D All Stars for the Switch, and Bowser has just been like, he was like, "So can I play that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna get to it anytime soon." And so he basically speed ran the whole thing, like 100%ed everything. He just finished up Super Mario Galaxy, which neither of us had played before. So it was really interesting to see like I've always heard about like Rosalina's story, which gets a lot more intense in Super Mario Galaxy 2, which is what makes me so sad that it didn't get included in this, but whatever. It was fun learning about Rosalina's origins, and so sad. Gosh, she's such a tragic character. I had no idea, because she's always just like, my children, but then like, you know, her children sacrifice themselves to become planets and stars and stuff. And I'm like, that's dark. Also, popularity. I was just like, I had no idea at all. She's such a somber character, and it gave me a lot more. I mean, I'd always respected Rosalina as her own character because she is her own character, unlike some people I know. But now I just have like this whole more, like I understand her as a more three-dimensional character, which was fun because I'd never known before since I hadn't played the series at all. Speaking of Galaxy as a series. And it's just weird to me, the level design that weren't outright platforming challenges. Bowser had said it's basically like playing a game that's solely made up of all of the special levels from Super Mario Sunshine. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I said that, I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Because it's just a bunch of segmented, like you do a thing on one little asteroid or whatever, and then you shoot off to the next one, and you shoot off to the next one, and then maybe there's a challenge, and then there's the star. It's not so much like Super Mario 64, where it's just like, it's a whole adventure. You go through this level, it's a whole cohesive level, like it's its own little world. And then in that world, there are just these different things that you have to do. There are some galaxies that are like that, like the, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a beach galaxy. And it's like that. But otherwise, it's just challenge on this asteroid, challenge on that asteroid, blam, you're done. Which is a little underwhelming. But it's still a gorgeous game with like amazing music. And after he beat Bowser for like maybe the first time? I'm not sure if there's, because I didn't catch like the whole thing. It was kind of an underwhelming boss battle too. But Bowser looked really good on screen. Speaking of Bowser, the character, not Bowser, my boyfriend. Although he looks good too, whatever. But it was good. It was good. I enjoyed the series, like the whole game, 3D All Stars as a whole. They really did a good job of upscaling 64 and widening out Sunshine and making the whole experience just visually pleasing. I don't even think that they did anything to Galaxy, but it still looked good too because it's just pretty. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. Nothing really too hectic or chaotic or anything like that, like you guys have been.